In this session, we are going to discuss about the projects and the tutorial which we are going to cover inside the surface design. And this is the particular project which we are going to discuss. And here you can see the views and the dimension about this particular feature. So let us start understanding this. So first of all, you have to create the revolve open profile and capture and revolve it. So after that, you have to go for these two block by creating the ellipse where 20 and 10 is the major and minor dimension, and this is the 60 dimension where you have to locate. And after that, you have to go for the trim operation and you have to get it. And after getting this, you have to fillet the edges and the resultant surface will look like this. Then you have to create the block and then you have to extrude, or you can go for even the surface projected curve and you can extrude and create the lofted feature. And after creating this, you have to patch with a planar surface, and finally you have to go for the knit all the surface and then finally have a fillet. And you can at the end apply the thickness and you can complete this project. So let us apply quickly all this concept and understand this. So here you can see the initial surface which we are going to revolve, and this is the typical surface sketch which you are going to create. Alt space bar, you can go for alt space. So now you can see here the complete detailed dimension which you have to capture. So after that, you have to go for the 180 revolve. Then you have to go for the surface extrude. These two surfaces, as discussed, you have to place at the 60 apart, and you give a position at the center of this, and 10 by 20 will be the ellipse dimension, and you will be able to this. Then trim the surfaces. So while trimming, you have to take this in mind. So this, all these surfaces we are going to select and keep selection, and this all again 3 will be the trimmed. And you can go for the natural flow and you can go for OK. And after that, you have to apply the fillet to the corners, this side and that side, and the fillet dimension will be 5. And after that, you have to create the plane where you are going to position the surface for the loft. So this particular surface, when you are going to create, you can go for the sketch and then the bottom curve which you are selecting. So based on that surface loft you can create, and here you can see the sketch and the projected curve which you have to create over this. The same curve you can project it and you can create over this, and you can use this both the surfaces. So over this particular plane, when you are going to create this particular sketch, then you can project the 2D curve which already you know how to project it. And then you have to patch this, and finally you have to go for the surface trim. So when you are going to trim this, this will cavitate. So this is the surface and this is the particular item which you are going to select, and that will trim it. And if you delete this and see this particular operation, this will be with the material. And when you trim the surface, so you are going to select the trim tool which you are using for trim, and then you have to select your which particular surface you are going to move. So here you are going to add these boundaries, and then this particular surface you are going to use this. In this way you can trim and cavitate it. Then you can go for the surface trim. So after creating this particular surface, you can go for knit and add all these surfaces. So here you have to go for the surface trim as stated. Then you have to go for the fillet at this corner, and again fillet at this corner, and then finally you can go for the thickening. you can have the final thickness, which you can directly go for the thicken. So here you can see the thickness, and you can get the thickness and corresponding control, you can direct have it. Next we'll look at the other example which we are looking at. So for understanding this, have a look over this detailed dimension and complete this curvature. Here you have the Rx13 and Ry9 means elliptical. Here this is different, so this you have to track clearly. So we are starting with the 4 different planes where we'll be placing the curves and the corresponding guiding curves. So by taking that, we'll be creating this basic surface, and then we are going to sketch for creating the planar surface, and we are going to patch it. So after that, we are going to create this handle. So for that, we are creating 2 different surfaces with 8.5 and 3.5 gap, and here you have the taper angle and height is 17, and then we are going for the blend, and after that we are going for the trim and cavitating this, and after that we are closing this, and you can knit it, and then for this we are creating this ellipse, and we are extruding and finally trimming it and getting this particular shape after trimming, and then we are creating this particular cavity over this, or you can say the embossed surface, and then we are going for a loft. So after lofting it inside, and then we are patching the base, and then we are creating the fins which you have to cut it, and then you have to finally apply the fillet corner radius to finish this. So this is also as simple as the earlier one. So here you have to go for the steps. So final step of all the surface is to create a solid which may be with the thickness or maybe something else. So this is the sketch 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 datum planes when you are going to create, and we have to place this, and next the guides. So after that you can directly create the lofted surface where you are going to create all these 4 surfaces and guide curves this side one, then that will be matched. So all these 4 guide curve in one direction and 2 side curve at the base will be the other direction. Then we'll go for the surface to patch this. Again we are going to create a plane here so that the handle can be extruded and added here. So for creating this, you have to create a profile this, and inside you have to create a profile. So if you see, the distance will be at 100, and after creating this you have to go for the loft and you have to add this, then you have to go for the surface trim option to remove this. Then again you have to go for the planar surface where you can patch this particular side which is open. Then again you have to go for this 3 extrude with different elliptical parameters which you can see as given in the sketch. After placing this correctly, you can again go for the trim so that that will be removed, and then again you are going to create the planes at the required height so that the lofting elliptical surface will be created. Then you create the loft from the bottom surface, and then you allow this to merge so that you can trim it. So when you trim it, this will be removed, and after that again you create and patch this surface, and finally again you go for the trim and remove this for the cavity, and finally you knit it. That means you are going to add this surface as a single surface, and then you apply the corresponding fillet at the corners, all these corners, and then you go for your final thicken. So aim of all the surface project is to have the proper thickness at the end so that you can create this drill head. Couple of exercises are there for your practice which you can choose from here, and you can create this same. You can directly go for the extrude and then you taper it. Here also extrude and taper it, or you can revolve it and create it and then merge it, then apply the fillet, then knit it. So another exercise is for you where you are going to create this model for binoculars, and here you have the complete details, and after creating this you can see this final output as similar to this. So pause it and record the dimension and try to create by yourself. Thank you.